Building bridges.
Building bridges.
Breaking barriers.
Breaking barriers.
And facilitating access.
When Muslims were establishing themselves in North America, the focus was on building mosques and building Islamic schools, but there was no organization that was devoted to social services, helping families, the needy. People hadn't realized that Muslims were having the same issues like anybody else, and that we didn't have counselors, we didn't have mental health professionals, we didn't have social workers. Those were not disciplines that Muslims were looking as for careers, but we knew we had the problems. We knew our families were suffering. So we just got together in 1999, 4 sisters, and we said, let's start this organization, and rest is history.
Issa is a unique model for organizations that see value in building community.
Issa is about a lot of things. It is more than a social service organization. It's really an organization that is devoted to relationships, fostering better relationships, relationships with others in the community, not only the Muslim community, but the greater community inside Winnipeg, outside of Winnipeg in Manitoba, and right across the country.
Issa partners with mainstream service providers that already exist in the community.
Issa has been very important. They've provided counseling services for some of our families. They've provided interpreter services. In I think a few cases they've provided or helped us secure foster homes for children who needed to be in our care, at least for a temporary period. And I think just in general, Issa has been able to provide us and our staff with information about Muslim culture, and language and faith, and that's helped inform our services.
We do a lot of collaboration in terms of training and mediation work. It could be with employers, it could be with schools, governmental organizations, City of Winnipeg, police officers, RCMP, the universities, health professionals. We deal with funeral organizations.
Issa trains service providers.
I do a lot of counseling with the community, with young, with the elderly, with married couples, with teens, with children. And as imams, we are not really trained to do this type of counseling. So this course was a tremendous asset. And I feel that this has now equipped me, it's empowered me, and it definitely, inshallah, will allow me to serve the Muslim community in a far better way.
Issa organizes after-school programs.
There's really great people here, like the volunteers are very nice and my friends are here.
I come because I see my friends and I like playing basketball.
It's a stress-free zone and I get to be active for free.
People are friendly here and I feel better doing this.
I understand the value of sporting events as it does build confidence, friendships. It helps one to understand how to work in a team as well as shine as an individual. And it's really a blessing for me to be able to share my passion with these girls who are absolutely amazing, to see them bonding and making friends with even new people that come out.
My name is Abdurrahman, and I was coming here for 3 years now. The one thing that I noticed that made me different, since I came here, that influenced me, I think made me more responsible.
Usually on Fridays, there's like things going on, parties and stuff. Coming to this program keeps you away from all that stuff. You can definitely learn how to play basketball here because there's a lot of great basketball players when you come down here. You can meet a lot of good people. You can also get good connections as far as like post, like going after graduation. For example, his brother Omar here, he's a lawyer. You can get to know him, he's very nice. Ali's in University of Manitoba.
Let's go!
The whole program is not just, not just to get them to come here and play ball and to feel like they're in a safe space, but we try to introduce role models every now and then to come and speak with them and chat with them. Just about a month ago, Chief Clunas from the Winnipeg Police Service came and played ball with them. That was pretty cool. The kids didn't believe me when I said the Chief of Police was here. He came here almost for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. He played basketball with them and he spoke with them. In their struggles and as they search for their identity and grow as young men, there's a broader community out there that wants them to succeed and wants them to be fully participating active citizens.
I think this program is important because it makes the community as a whole, like it connects the youth, brings the community together.
Issa provides education on Islam and Muslim issues.
Well, Issa for me has been my door into the Muslim community as a way to really begin to learn about Islam from the very beginning. I mean, I knew so little when it began to be a subject for conversation on the radio. Like a lot of Canadians, we just weren't in touch with it. Even though there were Muslims in the community, most of us didn't know anyone. And then things began to change. After September 11th, all of us were very curious about, well, what's it mean? Is this a representation of what Islam stands for? And then I came to meet people from Islamic Social Services, and they were always ready to engage. They wanted to talk about the issues of the day. They weren't afraid to be part of the conversation in the community. And then they produced this group of really amazingly useful booklets, really short looks at things. And I mean, these were published in 2002, but I saved them because I knew that they would be useful for me.
Issa has benefited the community in terms of sharing information about Muslim culture, being an advocate for human rights, and helping us to understand what's happening on a global level in terms of racial discrimination, Islamophobia, these really broad issues that are quite complex. And although they're happening or seem to be happening far away, they do affect our daily lives.
There's misconceptions, about what being Muslim means, what being Islamic means, what the religion is about. So, I went to the mosque here over on Ellis Avenue, and it was the first time I've ever been in a mosque. I've seen it on TV, but to experience it in real life, and then to have other opportunities to eat some of your food and that kind of thing, you know what I mean? It's real.
I had never participated in any formal or informal way with any group of the Muslim faith, and I really have been privileged that for the last 5 years I've had an active role in many of the programs of Issa.
Issa collaborates with local community groups.
The recent conference that took place here on Islamophobia and anti-Semitism was a very significant step forward because it allowed us as Muslims and Jews to talk about issues that are important to us and leaving aside for the moment what might be called the political questions.
We had a joint community meeting at the Thunderbird House. We're considered minorities in terms of overall population in Canada, and so people who are in minorities experience discrimination, racism, difficulty having a voice in the affairs of the country, the province, the city. If you can find ways to, to share your goals, to share resources, to do things together, and if you're open to that and you're willing to work with other communities, then it makes the job a lot easier.
The idea that Issa has reached out to other community organizations, ethnic, faith-based, cultural, has been a tremendous effort to build networking amongst people and ultimately to make a better Canada, a more inclusive and more respectful Canada for all of us.
Issa kickstarted the Canadian Muslim Leadership Institute and the Canadian Muslim Women's Institute, both successful independent nonprofit organizations.
I heard about this event through my friends at Issa. I wanted to come and see in Winnipeg what is there and what other people can we identify with, how can we understand each other, and I think I found that through this conference.
I really enjoyed the event. I thought it was really empowering for the youth. I think it explained really well for everyone about what we can do as youth and how we can get across the barriers, the social barriers as youth. So I find that it's quite enlightening for all of us.
We wanted to build interfaith relationships. We wanted to generate bridges between these youths from all these different faith groups. Faith plays a huge role in many of our lives, and so we wanted to show that we can use our faith as a resource to help build bridges between communities and to use our faith for the greater common good.
Issa is now launching a new initiative, the Canadian Muslim Family Services Institute.
After having established the Canadian Muslim Leadership Institute and the Canadian Women's Institute, our third goal now, and hopefully our final goal, is to establish the Canadian Muslim Family Services Institute, which will provide support services, which will work with agencies that are already doing this work, but more focused on Muslim families and using the preventive model. So before the families go into crisis or the children are taken away, we would intervene and bring help to these families.
Our differences are small in comparison to what we share as human beings. That's what it's all about. It's about getting out there, talking to each other, asking questions of each other, getting to know each other in a real way. Otherwise, you don't break down the barriers that exist between you.
We shouldn't be unsettled by difference, because difference, if you get into it, can be, and usually, is quite exciting.
It's always important to bring people together who are dedicated to the faith, who have skills, and being with others who have a similar commitment and have skills, it really reinforces, it gives people courage. And courage is what we need in order to deal with the ups and downs of life.
It's such a joy to receive an email from Shahina that starts with, "Peace be with you." It's just a whole different way of looking at the world, and it makes me mindful of my day-to-day interactions with people.
My vision for Issa is a fully established, fully sustainable professional services that help our family and our community to be the best they can. Healthy, well-adjusted, engaged citizens of Canada.
I mean, it's just been such a great experience for me. I feel like my life is so much richer. Such interesting people from so many different backgrounds, but we're all here together in the community.
Issa has been at the forefront of many new initiatives that seek to make Canada a greater place to live.
In order to continue its many important initiatives, Issa needs your help. Please consider making a monthly pledge or a donation towards Issa's work in building bridges, breaking barriers, and facilitating access. Thank you.